I'm going to talk about something real. I'm going to talk about something real. It's, so, I'm going to talk about how people with felonies are discriminated against in this country and probably in the world, I'm sure, by government entities. We are so discriminated against. I have 2 felonies. At this point, I'm not going to go into great detail about what they are. I'm going to say my second felony, which was committed in January of 2008. I had a terrible crystal meth addiction. I was set up for it, you know what I mean? I hurt somebody. I hurt somebody pretty bad. I don't know how bad, of course, because we're not allowed really to communicate with the victims. I hurt a stranger. I hurt a grown man. A stranger, somebody I didn't know. So I was in the depths of my crystal meth addiction, and I was desperate to get money for more dope. It was like I tried to rob him, but I didn't succeed. I hurt him, and you know what? You know a commercial that in the 80s, some of you might remember in the United States, if you were growing up in the 80s, the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program, DARE, the acronym DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Education, Just Say No. Well, for the most part, you should definitely just say no. Say no to crystal meth, say no to a lot of drugs out there. Fentanyl, you should definitely say no to fentanyl. Don't ever do that drug. It took my friend from us here on Earth. I lost a friend to a fentanyl addiction it was last Friday at 5:30 p.m. I already talked about that a little bit, but I'm going to talk about my homegirl Charlotte more later. She was an angel. Charlotte is now an angel for real, but she was an angel, my friend Charlotte. My neighbor. She was my neighbor. She was the best friend I had, for the most part, for that almost year and a half that she was my neighbor. And Charlotte was a saint. She was an angel. And now she really is an angel. Anyway, yeah, say no to fentanyl, say no to crystal meth. Like hallucinogens, I don't know, I'm not going to get deep into that. But anyway, I had a crystal meth addiction. I hurt somebody. So I spent 4 years in the Arizona Department of Corrections, prison. I had to go to prison for 4 years, which, yes, I had to be taken out of society. My situation was so extreme that I couldn't be walking around society, I'll say it that way. But prison, there's a better alternative to that than prison. I mean, it's a long story, but I'm a prison abolitionist. I believe all people who commit any kind of crime, no matter what it is, no, some of them can't be in society, even though drug possessions, things like that, they shouldn't have to be incarcerated. They shouldn't be incarcerated. They have a disease. It's like punishing somebody for having cancer, essentially, or something congenital, like I don't know, Hodgkin's, I don't know, what's a congenital condition, cerebral palsy. It's like sending somebody to prison for having cerebral palsy. I know it's different, but it's real similar. You're essentially, wow, a loud truck. You're essentially sending somebody to prison for having a condition, for trying to self-medicate, like have a disease. They have a disease. We have a disease. Addiction is a disease. I consider myself cured, but that's a Jesus spiritual thing. But anyway, so I have 2 felonies. My second felony, I had restitution, which I get it, you know, I had court debts I have to pay. I take that back. It's from my first felony. My first felony, I'm not going to get into at this point. It was real severe. It was in 2004. I committed on July 10th of 2004, I think it was. So the felony was committed 20 years ago today. Well, not today. 20 years ago this year. they gave me a $10,000 fine. I was living on a Social Security. I am living on, to this day, on a Social Security disability check because I don't have a disability, but I do. I mean, you know what I mean? I have to claim that I am cured. I am cured. It's a lie. The whole mental health thing, it's a lie. Like, there's no such thing as a mental health disability. They try to keep us in bondage. My point is, I've been living on a Social Security disability check for years, and that's like not enough money to pay the bills. You know what I mean? It's just not. They don't give us enough money, the people on Social Security, SSDI and SSI. They don't give us enough. They don't give us enough to live. So I was supposed to pay a $10,000 fine, living on essentially $700 a month, starting in 2005 when I was sentenced for the first felony. Well, needless to say, I could not afford to pay a $10,000 fine on $700 a month, having to pay even subsidized rent and all the food, clothing, etc. So now the fine is like $15,000, so many years later, and I cannot pay it, and I cannot request to get my rights restored to vote until I pay that entire $15,000 fine. So you might say, why doesn't this dude get a job? It's a long story. I'm an artist, for one thing. That's my calling. Like, I'm eccentric. I don't fit into the square hole, round peg thing. Sorry, it's so hard to talk out here in public because I have a lot of PTSD and stuff, which is a real thing, but that's another story too. So, felons in the United States of America, we are extremely discriminated against, especially people with substance abuse issues like me, or like I had because I consider myself cured. We are extremely discriminated against. You're like born into it. You're set up to have a drug addiction, and then when you get caught for possession or hurt somebody because you're high and run around out of your mind because you're trying to medicate your own pain, and then they punish you for it, trying to medicate your own pain. And we all know somehow all this dope and stuff ain't getting through the border without somebody in the government knowing about it and permitting it to happen. That's the truth. So, they say, yeah, the Mexican government is super corrupt. You know what? The United States government is probably even more corrupt than the Mexican government. It's just more hidden. It's more hidden in the United States. Back behind. You think the president runs the country? I know it's checks and balances, etc. The executive branch, judicial branch, and all the branches. It's got branches? A tree. Anyway, so here come the bus. We're discriminated against as felons in the United States of America, and I can't vote. So I haven't been able to vote for like 15 years. And they told me to pay the fines, to pay the restitution, $15,000, plus all my credit card debt. It's such a long story. We deserve better. Felons, especially felons who are vegans, ding ding, we deserve infinitely better. Hey, it ain't my fault I'm an empath, okay? I was born an empath. Anybody who doesn't get that or is envious or whatever, what can I do about it? I'm an empath. I'm sensitive. It's hard for me to exist in this society where everybody's running around not giving an F about anything. Makes me want to listen to some, KRS-One or something. The Goddess. I'm all about the Goddess. So, yeah, that's my spiel on that. I know I go on a lot of tangents. They call it tangential thinking in the mental health system. A psychiatrist will be like, you have tangential thinking. Yeah, well, that's because I'm trying to cope with this crazy world. Because I ain't crazy, the world is. All right, have a beautiful day. Be blessed. I love you guys. Bye.